What if I told you that your fortune is already here? Not in a bank account, not in a lottery ticket, but in a single thought. The right thought, held with focus, believed with certainty, acted on with discipline, is more powerful than inheritance, luck, or education. This isn't a motivational quote. This is physics of the unseen. This is spiritual law. You don't stumble into fortune, you build it, one internal shift at a time. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, said it simply, mind is the builder. And he meant it literally. Your outer world is nothing but the crystallization of your inner conversation. Fortune, success, peace, these aren't things you chase. They're frequencies you become. But the question is, who are you becoming? Every average life begins the same way, with borrowed thoughts, hand-me-down beliefs, stories etched into your subconscious long before you had a chance to question them. You were told what was possible, what was normal, what was safe, and you believed it. You believed that money was hard to come by, that only the lucky or the ruthless win, that you had to fit in to survive. That dreaming too big was dangerous, that struggle was noble, that mediocrity was humble. These thoughts weren't true, but they became true for you. Because thoughts are seeds, and whatever you water, grows. Cayce warned that the most dangerous force in the universe is unconscious belief. Not evil, not chaos, but the mind running on autopilot, recycling the same limited images over and over again until they manifest as reality. To go from average to fortune, you don't need to conquer the world. You need to conquer one thought and then the next. You need to interrupt the cycle. You need to become aware. What are you thinking right now? Stop. Listen. That inner voice, that commentary running beneath the surface. Is it empowering you or limiting you? Is it reminding you of what's possible or replaying what's familiar? Because the shift from average to fortune doesn't begin in the world. It begins in that voice. That voice is the architect of your destiny. And here's the miracle. You can train it. You can rewire the internal dialogue. You can replace the fear-based, survival-oriented programming with a new language. A language of alignment, of truth, of power. But not overnight, not by accident, by design. You must become the guardian of your mental temple. You must inspect every thought before it enters the gates. You must ask, does this serve the life I am building? And if the answer is no, it must go. Cayce taught that every soul incarnates with a purpose, a blueprint, a destiny that can be fulfilled or ignored. And whether you fulfill it depends not on fate, but on your conscious choices, made moment by moment. Most people are not choosing, they're reacting, sleepwalking through life, hypnotized by repetition, replaying karmic loops from lifetimes they don't remember. But when you wake up, when you claim authorship of your story, the rules change. Suddenly, fortune is no longer a far-off dream. It becomes a consequence, a reflection of the inner order you've built through discipline and clarity. And this is not just about money. Fortune means fullness. It means fulfillment. It means peace of mind, vitality of body, abundance of spirit. It means being rich in purpose. But you don't get there by skipping steps. You get there by changing the way you think about yourself. Because the version of you who lives in fortune, who moves through life with confidence, who creates without fear, who receives without guilt, already exists, not in the future, not in some alternate reality, but here, now, waiting to be chosen. And you choose that version not through willpower alone, but through vibration, through mental frequency, through alignment. That's why meditation was so central to Cayce's teachings. He said, through meditation, we attune ourselves to the creative forces. Translation, you don't manifest by force, you manifest by frequency. The stiller your mind, the clearer your signal. The clearer your signal, the faster the return. When you enter the silence and see yourself as already abundant, already free, already living from your highest potential, you begin to overwrite the past. You begin to build a new identity, Not from memory, but from imagination. And imagination, Cayce said, is not fantasy. It is the language of the soul. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, which means the more you feel fortune, the more you become it. But here's the trap. You can't just think it once. You must repeat it, embody it, protect it, because the old thoughts will try to creep back in. The doubt, the guilt, the fear, the scarcity. They're like ghosts of the past knocking on the doors of your mind, asking to be let back in. But you are not a hotel for limitations. You are the gatekeeper. This is why Cayce emphasized persistence above all else. The mind is the builder, but it must work day by day, he said. Not occasionally. Not when it's convenient. Daily, average thinking is automatic. Fortune thinking is intentional. You must remind yourself constantly of who you're becoming, through affirmation, through action, through vision, through refusal to settle for anything less than alignment. Because if you don't train your mind, the world will train it for you. And the world is noisy, chaotic, fear-based, urgent. You must become still, focused, calm, certain. When the world says panic, you say purpose. When the world says conform, you say create. When the world says you can't, you say watch me. Because you know this isn't ego, it's memory. At the soul level, you remember who you are. You remember the light you came from. You remember the power you hold. And your only job now is to reawaken that memory, to act from it, to live into it, to become fortune, not chase it. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And you become what you think, consistently, passionately, faithfully, one thought at a time. What you think today is not just a reflection of your current mood. It's a preview of your future. Every thought is a vibration, and every vibration seeks its match. You are not thinking in isolation. You are broadcasting. You are tuning a signal into the field of creation, and the universe is responding with experiences that match the signal. Cayce was clear about this. Spirit is the life, mind is the builder, and the physical is the result. That's not metaphor. That's blueprint. So if your life is cluttered, foggy, or stuck, the cause is not in the world. It's in the builder, the mind, the internal architect that shaped what you're walking through now. And here's the empowering truth. If you built it, you can rebuild it. Right now, you're walking through a structure designed by your past thoughts. But you don't have to live there. You can demolish it. Not through anger or regret, but through awareness, through design, through the next thought, and the next. Because the journey from average to fortune isn't a giant leap. It's 1,000 tiny adjustments. One mental degree at a time. You don't become extraordinary all at once. You allow the extraordinary that's already in you to come forward by removing the thoughts that have buried it alive. Let go of I can't. Let go of I'm not ready. Let go of I never was that lucky. These aren't truths. They're echoes, fragments of old programming. You inherited them. You absorbed them. But you don't have to keep them. Because here's what Cayce taught, and what modern neuroscience finally agrees with. The brain is plastic. The mind is moldable. Beliefs are not set in stone. They are choices repeated into conviction, and repetition is the master key. One powerful thought, repeated with belief, spoken with emotion, acted on with consistency, becomes law in your reality. But how do you find the right thought? Start with a simple question. What does my soul already know that I've been too distracted to hear? That's where the gold is. Your fortune isn't out there. It's not waiting in some distant future, hidden behind effort and hustle. It's encoded in your intuition, in your alignment, in your joy. Cayce called this the inner prompting, the gentle, persistent nudge from within that points you toward your highest timeline. But you must slow down enough to hear it. Silence is not empty. It's full of answers. That's why Cayce emphasized not only meditation, but the intentional stilling of the mind. Because only in stillness can you separate the noise of the ego from the signal of the soul. Try this. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. breathe, and then ask, what is one thought I can hold today that moves me closer to my fortune? Don't force the answer. Let it rise. Maybe it's, I am already enough. Maybe it's, I deserve wealth and peace. Maybe it's, my past does not define my future. Maybe it's, I trust the timing of my life. Whatever comes, hold it, write it, say it aloud. Now guard it. Because here's what happens the moment you claim a higher thought. The old ones panic. They rise up like ghosts demanding attention. You'll hear them whisper, you're being unrealistic. You're going to fail. Who do you think you are? This is normal. This is not a sign that you're doing it wrong. It's a sign you're reprogramming the system. The mind resists change because it loves the familiar. Even if the familiar is pain, but you are not here to repeat cycles. You are here to break them. To do that, you need more than positive thinking. You need spiritual discipline. Cayce never said that transformation was passive. He taught that the soul must work, must train, must choose daily to align thought, feeling, and action with the ideal. So ask yourself, what is my ideal? Not your job title, not your goal, your ideal, the essence of who you are becoming. Is it courage, freedom, generosity, creativity? Hold that image. Now audit your thoughts. Are they serving that ideal or sabotaging it? This is where most people stay average. Not because they lack talent, but because they never pause long enough to challenge the thoughts driving their behavior. They act on fear, on guilt, on shame, and then they wonder why fortune never comes. But fortune is allergic to fear. Fortune thrives in clarity. It is magnetized by joy. It flows through confidence. It aligns with purpose. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you're worthy of receiving. And belief is a practice. This is why Edgar Cayce repeatedly emphasized karma, not as punishment, but as pattern. Karma is the echo of the thoughts you've made law in this life and others. To escape negative karma, you don't need to suffer. You need to think differently. Cayce said that thoughts are deeds. They are causes. Every thought is a spiritual action. So when you say, I'm not good enough, the universe treats that as an order, and it delivers matching evidence. But when you say, I am ready, I am worthy, I am guided, the universe realigns. Not because it's listening to your words, but because it's responding to your frequency. Thoughts backed by emotion become beliefs. Beliefs backed by action become identity. And identity becomes destiny. This is the alchemy of transformation. And here's the miracle. You don't have to fix yourself first. You just have to decide differently. You don't need more motivation. You need alignment. When your thoughts match your soul's intention, energy returns. Clarity sharpens. People appear, doors open, synchronicities stack. Not because you're lucky, but because you've finally stopped resisting your own power. Fortune is not luck. It is law. It's the law of mental cause and material effect. Average people hope. Aligned people expect. Average people wait. Conscious people create. So let this be the moment you step out of the average. Right here, right now. Choose one thought that holds the energy of the life you can feel. The one calling you forward. Then say it, feel it, repeat it, live it. And when doubt returns, because it will, say it louder. Say it again until it becomes louder than your fear. This is the inner revolution. This is the slow miracle of becoming. One thought at a time. To go from average to fortune is not to chase wealth blindly, but to become worthy of it. To align so fully with your purpose, your essence, your truth, that fortune has no choice but to meet you where you stand. You are not here to play small. You are not here to survive in quiet resignation. You are here to radiate, to expand, to unfold the blueprint your soul brought into this life. A design etched in light, encoded in spirit, waiting for your conscious participation. Cayce's readings tell us that each of us is born with a soul pattern, a divine map traced across lifetimes, sculpted by karma, memory, and spiritual desire. That pattern holds your strengths, your challenges, your tendencies, and your deepest purpose. But the beauty of it is this: No map is fixed. The moment you become aware of the pattern is the moment you become able to rewrite it. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are not bound by the circumstances of your birth, your culture, your trauma. These are the lessons, not the limits. The soul is not interested in comfort. It is interested in evolution. And sometimes evolution requires rupture, discomfort, the burning away of what is no longer aligned. That breakdown you feared, that failure you hated, that was the fire of your becoming. That was the universe, as Cayce would say, giving you an opportunity, not a punishment. The universe is always speaking in opportunities, but only the quiet mind can hear it. Only the disciplined soul can respond to it. And this is why thought is your most powerful tool, because it is your steering wheel through the lessons of this life. Every thought you think is either steering you back into the storm or guiding you toward clear skies. To go from average to fortune, you must reclaim your thoughts as sacred. This means training your attention, guarding your focus, becoming ruthless about what you feed your mind. If your life is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. What are you planting? Are you planting weeds of fear, distraction, and comparison? Or are you planting fruit, conviction, vision, peace? What are you watching every day? What are you reading? What conversations are you letting into your field? Because your mind becomes what it consumes. And fortune is a mental diet before it is a financial one. Edgar Cayce spoke often about vibration. He taught that all healing, all progress, begins with the raising of personal vibration. Your thoughts carry charge. Your emotions carry energy. And when you hold elevated thoughts consistently, thoughts of faith, love, service, creativity, your very frequency shifts. And that shift over time is not just personal, it becomes magnetic. You start attracting opportunities that match the version of you you've been cultivating. You meet people who reflect your growth, who see your light even when you forget it's there. You're drawn to paths you once couldn't have imagined because your mind wasn't ready yet to recognize the doors. The fortune shows up after the alignment, not before. It's not about forcing your way into a new life. It's about matching it vibrationally, mentally, emotionally, and allowing it to unfold as a natural consequence. You don't demand a flower to bloom. You give it the conditions, light, water, space, and it blooms in its time. You are no different, but make no mistake. This is not passive. This is a warrior's path, a mystic's discipline, a sacred stewardship of thought. You must be vigilant. You must be patient. You must be unshakable in your faith, even when nothing around you looks like it's working. Because the energy of doubt is the greatest thief of destiny. When you doubt your path, you halt its unfolding. When you doubt your worth, you repel your fortune. But when you stand, even in the dark, and say, I trust, the path lights up beneath your feet. This is the power of one thought, repeated daily, felt deeply, acted upon faithfully. Not someday, not when it's convenient. Now. Right now, you have access to the same universal laws that shaped every miracle in history. The same source that guided Cayce's visions, that whispered wisdom in dreams, that revealed the truths of healing, karma, and soul purpose. That source is whispering to you now. But are you quiet enough to hear it? Are you humble enough to receive it? Are you disciplined enough to follow it? Because the message is simple, but the application is sacred. Train your thoughts. Choose your vision, trust the process, and above all, act from alignment. This means when you feel doubt, choose faith. When you feel fear, choose love. When you feel delay, choose persistence. And when you feel average, remember, the soul has never been average. You are not sent here to blend in. You were not created to be a background character in your own life. You were sent to lead, to shine, to serve, to create. To build something so honest, so aligned, so true to who you are, that the universe can't help but respond. And it will. It always does, because life is not random. It is responsive. And your thoughts are the conversation you're having with the infinite, every single moment. So if you want a different life, speak a different truth. If you want fortune, stop entertaining thoughts of lack. If you want freedom, stop rehearsing chains. If you want peace, let go of mental chaos. And if you want to rise, choose it. You don't need permission. You don't need a sign. You are the sign. Your desire to rise is the evidence that you're meant to. Now choose the thoughts that match that destiny. One at a time. Every morning, every moment. Again and again. And you will wake up one day, not to a miracle, but to a life you quietly built, one sacred thought at a time. And when others ask how you did it, you'll smile. Because you'll know it wasn't luck. It was alignment. It wasn't a secret. It was a decision. It was a vibration. It was a thought. And it changed everything. Forever.